Hello, welcome to Blue Discussions, and this is week number 2. Our topic for this week will be the NFL without fans, or even soccer, basketball, or baseball without fans. The discussion could be all over the place, so let's get started. And before we go to our Blue Discussions, please click and subscribe.
Like a hologram.
Okay, welcome to the second week of Blue Discussions, and we have the topic, and I already sent it to you. And we started, but this week we are being joined by Eric Puga, San Antonio. And then we have Alfonso Vela from Austin. And then we have Alfonso Sáenz, also from Austin. The ones on the left side are the roommates from Austin, Texas. Okay, so we decided to discuss how is the NFL season going to be affected either positively or negatively right now without fans, let alone the corona and all the effects that COVID-19 could have with the NFL. And then we're gonna spend a few minutes discussing how it can affect soccer, baseball, or basketball. We're talking about the MLS, the NBA, and the MLB. Okay, so I'll open it up with Alfonso Sáenz.
So I guess if you're talking about positively or negatively, I'm on the boat that I think a lot of people are saying that it won't affect the players because they won't have as much pressure, but I still think the games are going to be, close no matter what, whether it's with the fans there, something or not. I mean, the atmosphere might not be completely the same, but I don't think it'll affect them too much. On the terms of negatively, that's where we get affected, the fans, because we can't attend these games like we regularly would have. But in terms of the players, I don't think it changes too much.
Okay, so the positive or negative effect will be up to the players, not to the fact that we don't have fans. That's not
the fans will get the negative part of it, meaning we can't go to the games. We have to change our experience of it.
Of course.
But yeah.
For this particular discussion, I'm referring to how the players are going to play, either good or bad, or better or worse. Okay, so it seems like you're saying that it's going to remain the same.
I don't think it'll change too much.
Okay.
My opinion on it.
And Alfonso Vela, what do you think?
Yeah, just to follow pretty much what he said. Yeah, I don't think that anything will change. I mean, I think all these, because you named all professional sports. I mean, they wouldn't be professional athletes if they don't practice the way they play. So in practice, they play just as hard with no one watching. So I don't think it's going to be affected whatsoever throughout any of the sports.
Okay, so basically, and I'll go and follow up with one of my comments. But Eric, do you agree with this? With the roommates from Austin, Texas?
Somewhat, but I think it won't affect the offense. I mean, just like you said, they're all professionals. They're going to be following their playbooks. They don't have to be rushed or intimidated by the fans. But I think the defense aspect of it, once they start falling behind, you usually get that crowd noise to pump you back up, to get you kind of back in the game, to give you that second chance. But I think that's where they'll fall short.
Okay, well, it seems like you're saying that it's going to affect the game.
On the defense, especially if there's a big gap on the score. I think that's where you'll see the big impact of the fans not being there.
So you think like people win games because fans are louder or something?
Yeah, it's proven though.
Let me give you
I'm not saying I disagree with you. Like, I think it probably, some games it probably does, change, especially if a big momentum shift happens and then the fans are going crazy. I mean, it does get in your head for sure. I see that happening, but I mean, it's pretty rare that happens. I mean, it does happen, but I don't know. I don't see it happening too much.
But I also see it something as, in terms of like the players' perspective, they'll get used to it. They're going to be a week or two into it and be like, oh, well, this is just our new normal, and they'll kind of adjust to it. They're making all these changes to help them ease that adjustment with the crowd noises, when like the fans' videos on the sidelines and all that stuff. It's not obviously the same as it could be, but like I'm saying, they're professionals. They'll get used to it. They'll get some way of driving themselves and performing to their potential.
Okay, well let me spark the conversation a little bit for all three of you. It is 29-27 in the fourth quarter, and now the visiting team is coming to see if they can make the last attempt of the last drive. And it's two minutes to go. There's no noise. Does the visiting team have an advantage because there's no noise? Remember?
Well, can I add on to that?
Go ahead, Vela.
Because you're talking about football, right? Like in
Right,
2 minutes
course,
left, there go drive. At the end of every practice, NFL, college, even as low as minor, they at the end of practice they do what is called a 2-minute drill, and that there's no fans, no one's watching, and you act like it's a regular game, and you go and score the football. So I guess Eric's point, I could see it more affecting the defense, but offensively you do that every day in practice. You try to go and do that 2-minute drill and score that touchdown. No matter who's watching, what noise is made, it really doesn't affect, especially professionally, it doesn't really get in their head. So I don't see it really affecting, even in that situation, the offense, maybe the defense, certain situations, but even then, I don't think it's going to affect either side too much. Because, I mean, that's what makes them a professional, is that they're able to not only do work on the field, but have, like, the mentality to not hear any outside noise, really, whether it be the fans yelling.
But there's been plenty of times, though, when you have the away team trying to score that last minute or so, and the quarterback can't hear. He's like that, and the crowd is too loud, and then they have to call timeout.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen situations like that, but I don't think it happens too many games. I've definitely seen that. I've seen that. But
there's certain stadiums too. Yeah, there's certain stadiums with like the Seahawks. I think it's one of them. The Cardinals. They do play a factor. That's something you'll miss.
Yeah, especially Detroit, Boston. You have those diehard fans.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, it's still going to just be an adjustment. Even with the noise, it's just an adjustment that they have to make. So I don't think it ultimately will completely determine the factor of a game. But it'll.
The good teams are still going to be the good team.
Okay, well, let me spin it one more time. Last week, Eric mentioned that the Cowboys were going to be 8-8. And
9-7.
9-7. Okay, I've been corrected. And then the roommate said that we were gonna go to the playoffs as well. So the conversation from last week is not affected at all by we not having fans in the stadiums. Eric?
I mean, like I said, it just depends where you're playing. If you play in those hard cities, like I said, like Detroit, Chicago, Boston, where you have those diehard loud fans showing up every Sunday, like if you don't have that support, sometimes it can affect the team, especially in those last minute drives, I think.
Okay, so you see that the home teams are going to not feel the vibe of being at home?
Yeah. It's going to be pretty much you're just playing somewhere else and you don't have that supporting cast.
And that's how I was thinking when
I mean, and that's where they termed the whole 12th man. You're the 12th man in the crowd.
Yeah, that's how I was thinking when I created that question. What do you have to say there, Alfonso Sainz?
Yeah, I think he's right. That they do play a factor, like you said, with the 12th man in Seattle, things like that. But we still have yet to see what the plan of action for the NFL is going to be. Is it going to be another bubble like the NBA is doing? What type of environment are they going to have? And ultimately, those types of things play a factor into like messing the offense's rhythm up. I don't think they ultimately change the score of the game. You know what I'm saying? They help or they hinder the offense from being able to communicate, but they still get their word across and still get the play out that they want to play, the play that they want to get off on that drive. Yeah. So they'll adjust. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, these guys are professionals. They'll adjust.
Yeah, there'll be like the first 3 games, 4 games to be adjusting, but then that's where the coaching comes in. The coaching comes in. You get creative. You find other ways to disrupt the offenses or the defense, whether it's ways or.
And it'll be a whole new environment. I mean, there might be other things that we're not even thinking about because of this certain situation that might affect other things. Some stuff that we can't even think about. So it's just going to be an adjustment overall.
Okay, and Alfonso Vela, you were going to say something else?
No, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I guess I could see it affecting, but I think it'll affect in such a really small way that because when they play scrimmages, even professional athletes, when they play scrimmages with only 10 guys in the crowd, they're playing as if there's 50,000. I don't think it affects too much. Like it just doesn't. If you're good at a sport, you're good at a sport. The good teams are gonna still make the playoffs this year. It's not like the Dolphins are. The good teams are still. I don't think it's going to affect it that much. So the good teams will still go to the playoffs. Nothing's going to change that much. I mean, you may see it It happened a couple occasions where, like Eric said, the defense, doesn't have that momentum. But I don't see it happening too much throughout the season. I don't see it affecting it like at all almost.
Okay, well, it seems to me that the whole picture of the whole season is not gonna be overall, according to your comments. It's not going to be affected. It's not going to affect the overall picture, but it's going to affect, it seems to me, like the first 3 games before the teams start at that.
Well, maybe not even the first 3 games, because you have to understand that when they even go to spring training, they'll already be practicing because they scrimmage against each other, offense versus defense. So they'll be practicing as if there's no one in the crowd. So I think they'll already be used to it by the first or second game, as soon as it starts. I think they'll already have that mindset and be ready for that. I think that will be a big discussion through the coaches and the players. They'll let them know, hey guys, you got to practice as if you're playing, because that's how it's going to be.
Okay, you see, okay. Well, and then the football players, since they are professionals, they have the capacity to adjust, and they will be adjusting. So at the end, it seems like the teams that have the better players will go to the playoffs. And according to Eric, the Cowboys will be in the playoffs. Early, but they will be.
Ask him.
All right. Now I'm gonna direct the different questions to different people here based on their experiences, and I'm gonna ask Eric. When you were playing that indoor soccer in Brownsville, did it affect you when you didn't have the fans, or when you have a lot of fans?
No, it didn't affect me at all. I mean, I'm all focused in the game, I guess. I've already been playing a while, so you learn to just block it all out.
So you learn to go at the tunnel vision.
Yeah,
okay.
Pretty much.
But you just be like the NFL players will not be affected. So that's my soccer comment. And Venezuela, I specifically ask you, remember the Friday?
But I can't say though, I didn't play in front of 40,000 people though.
Oh, if you play, well, I'm just talking specifically about about your experience in Alfonso Vela when you were playing those Friday Night Lights at the high school.
Well, I can remember one specifically. It was Hannah versus Veterans. I would say at least 2,000-3,000 people, and it sounds like insane, especially in Brownsville, such a small thing. But I mean, I will say it makes you as a player maybe want to show off more, like when you score a touchdown, maybe dancing and stuff like that. But in terms of like play, like when they give you a play and you line up, all that crowd noise, it's just not there. I'm trying to make a play. I'm not worried about the maybe after I catch it, and they're yelling, then I want to showboat a little bit. That's going to be different. But in terms of me making the play, it's never changed. I like in practice, when you make a great play on a teammate, you're not there spiking the ball in front of your teammate, but because no one's really watching, I don't know. That's just how it is, especially in sports. I mean, from what I've seen and from what I've been a part of, it never affected me in practice. When I played, a lot of people, nobody there. You want to get the job done. That's why you play the sport.
Okay, and then Alfonso Sainz, I'm sure you play basketball, but when you play basketball, and
also my senior year I played baseball, and I can just tell you from my experience, it did affect me. I was always nervous getting out there, and that was only about 400, 500 people. But I'm also not a professional athlete, so that's the different mindset that you have to have. And even when I played intramurals in college, we still had about like 50 people on the sidelines, and that's still like, I still got nervous every play when we had to go out there. So it's just different perspective from different people. I mean, you can see Alfonso Vela over here. He's saying it didn't affect him. So everyone's different, but I can imagine, having to adjust.
Then I'll give you, for the last round of a conversation here, I'll give you, see what you see what you have to comment on this. The football players are not going to have fans. It's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be a different type of game for them. But let's not forget that they're still being recorded. And they're still going to be in ESPN and all those places. What do you think about that, Eric? They're still being recorded.
Wait, oh, that's still being recorded?
They're still being recorded, so they know they still have the pressure that the world's living.
Well, that pressure for sure will still be there.
Yeah, they're still, people are still watching whether they're there or not. So, I mean, and they know that. So, I mean, they're always going to have eyes on them, whether the fans are there or not.
And if anything, it's more eyes because more people are home, more people are watching on the screen. So it probably triples or quadruples the views. So if anything, more people are watching now. In reality.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it. The opinion seems to be that is not going to be much of a change as far as the results at the end of the season. But it seems to be like all of us have played sports. I play soccer, and I know it affects me different when I'm playing at Tony Gonzalez Park than when I'm playing at the stadium, or even when you're playing indoors and the fans are right there, you know? And it seems that it's not going to affect overall, but it's going to affect individuals. And I'm willing to bet that it's going to affect some of the players in some of the teams.
You have to kind of see it this way. Like, it'll affect, like, if there's an Austin little band here is playing a little show, it'll affect them because it's one of their first performances. But for someone like Johnny Cash that's performed a lot, to him, he could perform, whether he's performing at a prison or performing at a real live event. Professional athletes kind of have to see him the same way. They're used to performing at a high level always. So, you know, for a local band, they may be nervous, but for a guy, you know, that's done it professionally for a long time, Johnny Cash goes up there on stage, whether there's no one in the crowd when he's rehearsing or when he was performing for thousands of people. That's how I see it. When you're professional, I think you're always doing your job at a professional level.
It might be easier this year for the rookies. They don't have that pressure of all the fans.
Sure. So, there you go. That's a good argument. I think, it'll definitely take a lot of pressure off the rookies.
Okay. All right, but thank you for this week 2 discussions, blue discussions, and I really appreciate all your opinions. But let me end the whole discussion with this. I remember Tony Romo when he brought his girlfriend Jessica Nilsson.
He choked.
But thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Blue Horse.